They thought silence meant weakness. They thought if someone stopped explaining, stopped reacting, stopped defending themselves, then that person must have accepted defeat. That belief is exactly why this story exists. Welcome to Silent Payback Story, where silence is not surrender, it's strategy. This is not a channel about shouting louder, proving yourself to everyone, or fighting back with words. This is about what happens when someone says nothing, and lets reality respond instead. In a world addicted to noise, silence becomes invisible, and invisibility is dangerous. This story begins with someone who once believed effort would be noticed, loyalty would be respected, and patience would be rewarded. Someone who showed up early, stayed late, and carried responsibilities quietly. But instead of appreciation, they were overlooked. Instead of recognition, they were replaced. And instead of honesty, they were underestimated. They watched silently as others took credit for work they helped build. They listened as louder voices rewrote the narrative. They noticed how quickly respect disappeared once they stopped explaining themselves. And still they said nothing. Not because they were weak, but because they were watching, learning, observing patterns others didn't realize they were exposing. Silence became their classroom. While everyone else spoke, justified, argued, and blamed, this person was studying behavior. Who benefited? Who disappeared when things got hard? Who smiled publicly but sabotaged privately? Silence filtered truth more clearly than words ever could. And slowly something shifted. What looked like weakness became preparation. What looked like patience became precision. What looked like defeat became distance. And distance creates power. The decision to go silent didn't come from confidence. It came from exhaustion. Years of explaining intentions, defending actions, and fixing misunderstandings had drained something essential. They realized they were constantly reacting, never controlling. Every response gave others leverage. Every explanation invited judgment. Every defense assumed guilt. So they stopped. At first, the silence felt heavy, awkward, unnatural. People noticed immediately. Questions came fast. Why are you so quiet? You've changed. Is something wrong? But none of those questions came with solutions. They came because silence disrupted comfort. People had grown used to access to their time, energy, ideas, emotional labor. Silence removed that access. And when access is removed, entitlement panics. Some became irritated. Some became distant. Others tried provoking a response using old tactics: guilt, pressure, comparison. Silence held firm. Each ignored message strengthened a boundary. Each unanswered provocation restored control. Silence slowly stopped being external and became internal. Emotional detachment sharpened focus. Instead of absorbing other people's expectations, they conserved energy. That energy went inward, toward rebuilding confidence, toward skill development, toward planning without interference. Silence didn't isolate them. It protected them. It gave them space to breathe again, to think clearly, to see how much noise had been influencing decisions that were never truly theirs. Silence doesn't change people. It reveals them. Without reactions to feed off, true intentions surfaced. Some people vanished entirely, proving they were only connected to usefulness. Others grew uncomfortable, exposing insecurity masked as confidence. A few showed passive aggression, subtle remarks designed to regain control. Watching this without reacting was difficult but educational. Silence became data. Patterns emerged. Who needed validation? Who feared irrelevance? Who relied on noise to hide lack of substance? This awareness shifted perspective completely. The problem was never lack of talent or effort. The problem was proximity to people who thrived on distraction. Silence broke that proximity. It reduced emotional clutter. It simplified priorities. Conversations became intentional. Time became valuable. The person they were becoming no longer needed to be understood by everyone. They only needed alignment with themselves. And alignment creates momentum. Momentum builds fastest when no one is watching. Without an audience, pressure disappears. Performance ends. Real work begins. This person invested quietly. Skills that compound. Knowledge that doesn't expire. Habits that strengthen foundations. They stopped chasing recognition and focused on effectiveness. They removed themselves from environments driven by gossip, comparison, and constant validation. Instead, they entered spaces where results mattered more than opinions. Silence sharpened discipline. Routines tightened. Standards rose. They became selective with time, people, and commitments. No announcements. No updates. No promises. Just execution. Confidence returned. Not loud, not arrogant, but grounded. The kind that doesn't need witnesses. Silence wasn't hiding them. It was preparing them. The most dangerous phase is when people underestimate someone who has stopped explaining themselves. Comfort breeds carelessness. Assumptions replace awareness. People believed the silence meant stagnation, decline, failure. They moved freely, unaware they were being observed. Meanwhile, the silent one refined positioning. They stopped competing in noisy spaces and chose arenas designed for outcomes. When readiness meets opportunity, it looks effortless to outsiders. But effortlessness is earned privately. Silence allowed preparation without pressure, protection without exposure, growth without interference. And soon, that growth would become visible. There comes a point where silence stops being a reaction and becomes a deliberate strategy. That moment arrived quietly, not with confidence, not with clarity, but with certainty. The certainty that explaining had never saved them. The certainty that defending themselves had never changed minds. The certainty that those who wanted to misunderstand always would. Silence was no longer accidental. It was intentional. Every decision now passed through a single filter. Does this require my voice? Or does it require my absence? Most things failed that test. Conversations that once drained energy were ignored. Opinions that once caused doubt lost relevance. The noise faded, and in that quiet, focus sharpened. They began structuring their life around control instead of reaction. Control of schedule. Control of direction. Control of exposure. Silence allowed them to move without interruption. To test ideas without judgment. To fail privately and adjust quickly. Others were busy performing progress. Talking about goals, posting intentions, narrating effort. Meanwhile, real work happened unseen. Silence protected momentum. It prevented premature celebration and unnecessary interference. It removed emotional leakage. What people didn't realize was that silence wasn't empty. It was full. Full of preparation. Full of discipline. Full of restraint. And restraint, when paired with clarity, creates power. The kind of power that doesn't rush. The kind that waits for alignment instead of approval. Transformation rarely announces itself. It shows up subtly in habits no one observes. They woke earlier, focused longer, spoke less, chose carefully. Every adjustment was small but cumulative. They stopped chasing relevance and started building leverage. Leverage doesn't come from attention. It comes from independence. From not needing permission. From not requiring consensus. Silence accelerated this shift. Without constant feedback, intuition strengthened. Without comparison, self-trust returned. They learned to sit with uncertainty instead of filling it with noise. That patience separated them from everyone else. While others demanded immediate results, they invested in foundations. While others argued about direction, they refined execution. Silence created space to think strategically instead of emotionally. And strategy compounds. One skill led to another. One insight unlocked another layer. Slowly, the version of themselves that once felt overlooked was replaced by someone unrecognizable, calm, composed, deliberate. They weren't trying to impress anyone. They were preparing to outgrow everyone. Ironically, silence attracts more attention than noise. Once expectations are broken, people expected availability, expected responses, expected explanations. Silence disrupted that pattern. Questions replaced assumptions. Rumors replaced facts. Some believed the silence meant collapse. Others assumed withdrawal. A few sensed something else, something they couldn't define. That uncertainty unsettled them. Because uncertainty removes control. And control was something they had grown comfortable having. Meanwhile, the silent one didn't engage with speculation. They didn't correct narratives. They didn't clarify misunderstandings. They understood something crucial. People believe what aligns with their comfort. Truth doesn't need participation. Silence allowed narratives to collapse on their own. And while others filled gaps with guesses, real progress continued uninterrupted. The silence acted as camouflage. Plans matured without exposure. Decisions were tested without pressure. Growth happened without resistance. And once something grows strong enough in isolation, exposure no longer threatens it. Silence had done its job. The breakthrough didn't arrive with celebration. It arrived with inevitability. The opportunity appeared, not by chance but by positioning. And when it did, readiness met timing perfectly. To outsiders it looked sudden. Overnight success. Unexpected rise. But nothing about it was sudden. Silence had allowed years of preparation to compress into a moment. The shift was undeniable. Their presence carried weight. Their decisions influenced outcomes. Their absence created gaps others couldn't fill. People revisited old assumptions, replayed conversations, reinterpreted silence. The realization spread quietly they had been wrong. But regret changes nothing, because by the time understanding arrives, distance already exists. And distance creates hierarchy. The person they once overlooked was no longer competing for space. They had moved beyond the arena entirely. Silence had elevated them without confrontation, without announcement, without permission. Results had spoken clearly and permanently. This is the truth about silent payback. It doesn't feel like revenge. Feels like alignment, like finally standing in a position that doesn't require explanation. The people who underestimated them weren't exposed, they were surpassed. Completely. Silence removed emotional dependency. It stripped away the need to be understood by those committed to misunderstanding. It eliminated the urge to prove anything. And in that elimination, power emerged. Real power. The kind that doesn't argue. The kind that doesn't explain. The kind that moves forward without looking back. Silence wasn't emptiness, it was discipline. It wasn't weakness, it was restraint. And restraint, when paired with preparation, becomes dominance. The silence that once made them invisible had made them untouchable. And once someone experiences that level of control, they never return to noise again. This wasn't the end of the story. It was confirmation that silence works. And for those who understand this lesson, silence will always be louder than words.